Hi everyone, hola a todos. Delicia Lacon here, CEO and founder of Delingo Academy and the podcast First Gen Homies. This is a Delingo Academy workshop that we're going to talk through today about Masters in Social Work, or MSW for short. I have some questions from the community about MSW, college admissions, support, scholarships, working in grad school. So we're going to discuss that um, today. So this is a graduate school admissions support workshop versus undergrad. So if you're an undergrad but interested in masters in social work, this could also be for you. But this is mainly focused on masters in social work. So if you need support in another field or another question, please drop them below and I'll get back to you, maybe make another video if there's enough interest and enough need in those particular questions. So if you're new around here, welcome to the YouTube Delilino Academy. My name is Delicia, like I said at the beginning, and my background is in academic advising, supporting students at the undergrad level as well as in high school to apply to undergrad and graduate school, as well as post-graduation career development support. I recently graduated from New York University with my Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, Experimental Humanities, and Social Engagement. I focused a lot on historical memory, archival research. So I would consider myself an archival scholar, historical memory researcher that focuses in Latin American Southern Cone regional studies, specifically Paraguay, which is where my family's from. I'm a first generation Paraguayan American and living in the United States. So this is a little bit about my background as well as I did study abroad in Spain and Australia. I also did a Fulbright grant to Brazil in 2018. So if you have questions about Gilman, Fulbright, study abroad, admissions, those are kind of the areas of expertise that I like to be in, as well as historical memory, archival research, theory, and scholarly support. And my undergrad was in psychology, Spanish language and literature with a minor in educational studies. So if you have any questions about those fields of study, I did a lot of research in psychology, cognitive, and developmental psychology research lab. So if you have questions about that, you can ask as well. So let's start. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And I'm going to present and go back and forth between some windows. So like I said, today we're going to talk about Masters in Social Work Application Support Grad School 101. So our goals today are overview of MSW programs. I'm going to focus on two from both of my alma mater, Fairfield University in Fairfield, Connecticut, and New York University in New York, because those are the schools that I've worked the most with and spent the most time in. So I have a better understanding of their programming and their internal working of higher education. If you have additional questions for other programs, you can drop them below and I'll answer them as best I can. But these are two institutions that I've worked at and can really talk through and support there. And obviously, Masters in Social Work is a broad field and available in at many different universities. So we'll talk a little bit about admissions, grad school, paying for grad school scholarships, and then working full-time, part-time. I worked full-time during grad school, so can talk through that. So where do we start? First, you're going to research your institution. What are you interested in? I'm based in the East Coast of the United States, so I have more of an understanding of the East Coast university admissions, whereas some people might know the Midwest or the South or California West Coast side, right? Um, but I've been the majority of my schooling has been on the East Coast, so that's what I'm most comfortable talking about. So take what resonates with you and leave the rest. This video is for educational purposes only. Of course, personal questions require personal consultations. So if you have something very personal that you want to talk through, please check out my website. There's a lot of resources there, as well as you can book a one-on-one chat coaching session with me where you can get specialized personal support. This is a very generalized video, so it's going to have general information. So you have to start with research. Where do you want to go? If you're already thinking of a master's in social work, you are likely doing this already. So if you're here, great. If you're not, that's okay. You can start now. And it's a quick Google search, right? Or on YouTube or wherever you get your information. Figure out MSW, Master's in Social Work. What do you want to do with that degree? Um, and then it's important to check if they have any supplemental essays. When are the deadlines? How many recommendation letters you need? What transcripts you need? Like I said, this is a graduate level degree, Master's in Social Work. So um, we can talk through what career choices you can make from this, but this is mainly about admissions. So start researching your institution, where you want to go. Likely where you're at now is where you might want to look at schools, right? Because moving is expensive. So if the institution doesn't provide moving support, then you might need to look locally, and that's okay too. Um, so we're going to look at two institutions. The first one is we are going to look at Fairfield University, just to kind of get a background to what does a website look like, right? The first thing in research is like, where do you want to go? Fairfield University offers a master's of social work. This is where I went for my undergrad. I did not do a master's in social work, so this is coming solely from the website and my experience with supporting students. Um, Again, they lay it out for you. Why choose a low residency Master of Social Work degree from Fairfield? You can spend more time looking at this on your own. I'm just giving you kind of an overview, right? And this is important to look at. What are the highlights? The program start time. So they do offer fall, spring, and summer start. So that's good for planning, depending on where you're at in your career. You can do full-time or part-time, and it gives you how many credits you can complete um, the program. Some programs are 2 years, some are three, depending on how long you take to finish your internships. So one thing to keep in mind with Masters of Social Work is that you will probably need to complete internship hours. What does that look like for credit, not for pay? So that will look like you working at a nonprofit, a school setting, a hospital setting, whatever institution hires social workers, you will likely need to do an internship there to get credit hours to then apply for graduation. That's going to be probably one of your graduation requirements. So that's also something to keep in mind of like with admissions. If you want to work in Connecticut, this is based in Fairfield, Connecticut, what are the surrounding counties and towns that you could likely get a job? And is that where you want to be? Or New York University, right? New York as a state or the city, or New Jersey, if you go to school in New Jersey or Pennsylvania. Like where you go to school is really going to determine at the graduate level where you will likely get a job, build your networks, and who you make connections with to be hired post graduation. As Masters of Social Work is a very specialized field, and people who do pursue this degree are looking to not only get paid more at the institution, but have more of a specialized training. So each university website will give you the admissions requirement. So no GMAT and GRE required at Fairfield. So that's great. Some schools still require GRE and GMAT if you want to apply to those programs. So the fact that they don't require it is a great thing, because some students you can't tell someone's completing ability to complete a program through just a standardized test, right? So it's good that it's optional or not required. And then they'll walk you through how to apply, right? You're going to do that research. NYU, another institution that I just graduated from, and there's this called Silver School of Social Work. So you can go through their website and look at what are their facts and figures, who applied, who graduated, what do they focus on. Each institution is going to have their specialty and their faculty highlights, right? Who you want to work with if you go to these schools. So prospective students, they have everything here. We can look at deadlines since we are talking through this fall 2024. We're in October 21st. So if you're getting this video later on in the year, that's okay. This timeline of dates can help you plan ahead. So even if you're in undergrad and you're looking at this video, you can look at something to support you to plan. So they have the DSW PhD, and they give you all the deadlines here. You can apply for spring 2025, so they're accepting people for spring 2025 or summer or fall. So they also have 3 deadlines. And they have other options here. And then you can go to their facts page. They have a lot of information, application requirements. Here are the general requirements, which are similar at all institutions, either a standardized test or optional or not, transcripts, recommendation letters, etc. So that's a little bit about Masters in Social Work, the admissions part. So where to start? Wherever you're reading, whenever you're watching this video, there's a timeline that you can follow. If you're in the fall section, right, August, September, October, we should be working on your essays, getting your transcripts, getting your recommendation letters. This is keeping in mind if you have already decided that you want to apply to a Master's of Social Work. If you have not decided yet, this can also help you figure out what is your next step. Over the summer, if you're looking at this in the spring and summer, you can start thinking about your essays. What do you want to write about? Why do you want to go to graduate school? And why is this degree important in your next step in your career? You don't have to decide what you're doing for the next 10 years, right? So let's pause for a moment. Because I think sometimes in grad school admissions, we get really, really stressed out about, oh my God, is this my career? Is this what I'm going to be doing for the next 5 to 10 years? Yes or no? You can change your mind. You can reserve the right to change your mind, even if you're in grad school and halfway through you decide you're like, actually, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to transfer to another program. I want to transfer to another school. I want to transfer. I want to get out. That's okay too. If you're halfway through the application cycle and you realize this isn't what you want, it's okay. If you're halfway through the year and you're like, you applied, you got in, and you realize you don't want to go anymore, that's okay too. Like, we need to give ourselves grace and time to figure it out, right? So I say that pause because sometimes when we're writing these essays, we get stressed out that, oh my God, they're not going to accept me if I'm not going to be doing this in 10 years. That's okay. People change their minds. People move, people get married, people have kids, people change careers, people change jobs, people leave a career and come back to it 10 years later. Like life is long, life has many layers and nuances to it. Like my podcast talks about, the path is not linear. So if you want to check that out, check it out. There's a lot of great people who talk about their careers and how they've changed and how they've shifted based on what's going on in their life. So let's take a collective deep breath and really like center ourselves in that because I can also feel that way sometimes. But writing the essay is number one and getting that started. So even if you're kind of thinking about it, it's like free write and say, why do I even want to do this? Why am I even interested in social work? Or like law school or medicine or whatever your program is. Why do you even want to do it? And if it's because I want to make more money, that's a fair answer. Or I want to learn more about this theory or this strategy or this academic pursuit. That's okay too. Your answer is valid no matter what it is. So you can start that process. So what the heck is a college admissions essay personal statement? If you're graduated undergrad and thinking of grad school, you likely know how to write this. But I just want to give a brief overview, right? It's a written sample of your lived experience, who you are as a person. It gives the admissions committee an opportunity to know who you are outside of your academic curriculum and credentials. So this really gives the reader a holistic view of who you are and what do you want to accomplish with this degree, right? So your ultimate goal in getting into the school, applying for undergrad or grad school is your essays in the middle, the degree is your foundation. At this point, you have an undergrad because a lot of MSWs doesn't accept someone who doesn't have an undergrad, right? So your experiences make you unique, what you have already done, who you are becoming because of that program, and what you're about to do in the program, what you're going to do and create in the program. So this program has to be a next right step, even though you're still figuring out that next right step, right? Like you are interested in working in schools or a nonprofit or hospitals that take social workers, and you're still not sure what that day to day might look like, but you're interested in making that difference or being a part of that experience. So that's really what you need to talk through. And then what is this new degree going to offer you in your life, in your experiences, in your foundations? Who are you becoming because of this MSW program? What are you about to do in the program? And what are you going to create? You can get involved in many different extracurricular activities. You can create new programming ideas. There's so many ways to get involved at the graduate level that the personal statement really pushes you to figure that out and pushes you to make that happen. So, what do you ask admissions counselors when you're going to meet admissions counselors on tours or over the phone or on Zoom? Um, it's important to ask what support do they have with networking post graduation? So a lot of these master's level degrees are tailoring your experience to get a different position at an institution or a higher paying job or something. So how are those networking opportunities at the institution going to help you post graduation could be a question. Do you have mentorship with professors? And then internship placement support. Is the institution going to help you with your internship placement? If there are any exams that you need to take to get certified in master's in social work, um, do they support you in that? And then some scholarships questions that I've gotten in throughout the years is I have a video, I'll link it in the comments or above here somewhere. Um, for the scholarship questions, I made a video specifically about this and the difference between scholarship grants, merit-based, and all of that. So check that video out. And then there is a video on TikTok. If you don't follow me, Deli the Explorer, I answer some questions there as well. This is the video. I will link it. This is what it looks like. Someone asked me, I'll need some MSW tips and scholarships. So I'll link that video directly in the comments if you want to check that out, because I've already created this. So check out those two videos and I walk you through scholarships through those. The next part is working in grad school. Another question that I get asked a lot about because graduate school, it can be expensive if you don't get a full scholarship or a full ride or whatever your situation is. So it is possible to work in grad school, depending on the program, either working full-time or part-time. So at the institution, you can get on-campus work, right? As a graduate student assistant worker, a graduate worker, a teaching assistant, and they have different levels. I spoke extensively about this in another video, and I'll link it as well, but overview quickly. A graduate student worker can work at the gym, at the library, in the department as a front desk person. So sometimes the first person you see at an institution is actually a graduate student worker um, that works part-time for that department. A graduate student assistant might work in the department for research with different professors. And then a teaching assistant supports a professor with editing essays, showing up in class, providing recitation for undergraduate students. So it depends on the institution that you're at. And Fairfield specifically has a graduate resident coordinator position that you can work in residence life, and they pay for tuition and housing and a small stipend as you work in residence life. So what is residence life? You an area coordinator, or you support the RAs, or you support paperwork, administrative tasks and duties in the office. It really depends on the program and the institution, but I know Fairfield does offer that opportunity. So if you're in Connecticut and are thinking of a master's in social work, that might be a good opportunity. I believe NYU may offer that as well, but I personally did not participate in residence life when I was there. So I don't know specifically. However, I know that some people did do it. I was a teaching assistant and a graduate student worker at the Latinx project. So that's how I worked on campus. And you can get housing through residence life in that way, or you can get housing through where you live now. If you're going to an institution that's close to where you live, great. If not, you might need housing if you need to move. So your scholarship or your loans might be able to pay for that. And then it's also important to keep in mind where you might want to get a job post graduation, because part of MSW or Masters in Social Work is giving you an internship placement that you will likely work there for credits and not for pay. So where you build a relationship could likely lead to a full-time opportunity post graduation. So it really depends on where you're at and what you're thinking and where you want to go to kind of make these choices. But it's important to think about this when you're starting to apply. And you can ask these to admissions counselors as well. Or another strategy is look on the website. They usually have student profiles of people who are in the program or who already graduated, and reach out to them via email or via social media and connect with them, ask them questions because they directly have experience with that particular program. So keep in mind, this is a very generalized video, and I personally don't hold an MSW. So I did not go through this experience. However, I know some people who did, and also sharing this advice through my own experiences as an academic advisor. So um, if you have more specific questions, like I said, personal questions require personal consultations, or find a student in the program, ask them directly. Or if you have any follow-up, I can maybe connect you with someone that I might know. So what's next? Your writing process. You have to get organized. Start to free write. Start to write down your ideas. Don't censor yourself. Don't edit yourself. Don't look at your grammar. Just free write. Why do you want to do this? Why do you care? Why is this program important? And why is this going to help you in your next step, your next career choice? And how is this experience going to support you in your life? And what are you going to bring to the table to the institution as well? These institutions are also looking at it long term with the research and ideas that you're bringing to the table. Part of graduate school is moving the academy forward, and bringing new ideas, new research topics, and um, innovative thought processes. So they are also looking at you as an asset. It's not just what the institution could do for you, but what can you do for the institution? Like I said, get organized. There's an Excel spreadsheet that I created for undergrad and graduate students that you can download below. Look at your deadlines, look at your dates, look at your requirements, start asking for recommendation letters, start asking for transcripts, research your program, make sure you really are into it, really like it, really vibe with it. Visit the university if you're not sure if you're gonna be really connecting with professors there. Research the professors that are teaching at these institutions. Are they people you want to work with and learn from? And is their research what you want to focus on? That's really important and part of the research process as well. Another thing to keep in mind is that for graduate school, you still have to apply for FAFSA to get either merit-based or loans or any scholarships governmental agencies might have to offer you. So make sure you're keeping that in mind as well. For the FAFSA deadlines, you still have to apply at the graduate level if you want to be considered for anything. And network. So start connecting with admissions people, professors, students. And one thing I want to say from working on campus is that at the graduate level, you will also have to show that you have health insurance. So if your partner or if you're not married, you will need to show that you get it through an employer, or you will need to purchase from the institution. If you're under 26 and you're still under your parents' health insurance, great. And if you have that opportunity, amazing. If not, you will have to purchase from the institution, which is usually fairly affordable. And you go to on-campus health centers, which are pretty good. So it's not like you're getting less health insurance because you're paying for university health insurance. It's actually really good. Um, so keep that in mind when you're thinking of graduate school as well. You will need to show that you have health insurance, and you can get it maybe through graduate student teaching as well. So keep that in mind. So let's take a pause and start a free writing exercise. If you don't want to, that's okay too. You can come back to this. What do you want to write about? Remember, it can change. Remember your personal statement, your ideas, everything can change. This is just to get the juices flowing. What do you love about the school? What do you love about the extracurricular activities? What about the mentorship opportunities, the professors? Like, why are you into it? Why are you attracted to it? Why do you want to study what you want to study? In this particular case, why do you want to do a MSW, a master's in social work? And why do you want the job? Or like, how is this MSW going to bring you to a job that you want? Why are you interested in that? So think through those things. Let's take a pause. It can be 10 minutes, it can be 15 minutes, whatever you need in this moment. And it can be free writing. Just write, just write. Okay, we're back. I hope your free writing went well. What's next? Fee waivers. Another thing that you can ask is about fee waivers. College admissions is expensive, applying to college is expensive. So if you are in a position that you need support, email admissions and ask them, do you offer any fee waivers? They might have you fill out forms, they might have you fill out something, or sometimes they might just give it to you with a code. Just ask. The worst they can say is no. or start applying for scholarships that pay for admissions fees. Some I'll look for some. I've seen a couple in the last couple of years, and I'll link them below. But ask the admissions people, be like, can I get a fee waiver or financial aid? Whoever administers fee waivers, likely admissions, just ask. There's probably an email on the website that you can connect with, or they might even have a fee waiver section that gives you all the information. So if you found this helpful, thank you for staying until the end. I wish you the very best luck in your MSW application process. I'm rooting for you. Stay motivated. If you need extra support, ask me questions or send me an email. Um, what university are you applying to? What are you interested in majoring in? And again, personal questions require personal consultations. Check out my website for any one-on-one coaching sessions that you might need or desire. If you have a question, drop them below. If you want it privately, you can email me at dailylingo@gmail.com. Again, these are my social media links. You can work with me at my website. All the resources are there. You can follow the uh, Instagram page, Duolingo Academy, the subscription here for YouTube, Duolingo Academy, my TikTok, Duolingo the Explorer. I talk and answer a lot of questions there um, about scholarships, about academic advising. So you can check that out. I have a free Facebook group, College and Career Hype Crew, LinkedIn, and the podcast, First Gen Homies. You can check out other people's stories about first generation academics and figuring out navigating career and life. So thank you for stopping by. I hope this was helpful. Again, my name is Delicia, aka Deli the Explorer. Until the next one, my friends.